thank you for clicking on segment number 2. Now, if you have not gone ahead and watched segment 1, go ahead and do so. And we're moving right along. So I'm touching on the fact that Aaron Hernandez had went off to college, and that's when a lot of his problems became prevalent and on the forefront. He, of course, was smoking a lot of weed. He was partying a lot. His first incident that they mentioned in college that was like mind-boggling, because it's like, come on now, how the fuck? Who you think you are, sir? You're in college. Yes, you're on scholarship and all of that, but you ain't NFL. You ain't royalty at this point. Like, nobody really knows you like that, you know, like, obviously they knew him because there's a such thing called college, what was they calling it? A college town. So basically a college town is where they are so into the college team or the football team, college team of that state or town or wherever the hell you want to say. So they're like die hard, you know, fans of the college team. And with him being on that college football team, obviously he had a little bit of notoriety, nothing like he did once he went to the NFL. But the first thing that was like shocking is, okay, so he went to a strip club and he started ordering a ton of drinks, you know, got this huge tab and huge bill. And this man, the manager, came up to him and, you know, started waving the bill. Like, you know, are you going to take care of this? You know, what about your bill? Blah, blah, blah. And he hit the manager in the face for asking him to take care of his own bill. Like, how ruthless, reckless, and disrespectful can you get, sir? Like, you the one drank up all these drinks, ordered all of these drinks, and you think that you're not going to pay them? Did you think the school was going to pay for your college binge drinking? Like, absolutely not. You're on a scholarship for school, not for your partying. So get your shit together and pay for your drinks. But of course he did not. He hit the manager. The police was called. However, because this was a college town, once again, this was a college town, they love their freaking football team. The manager did not press charges, so that was dropped. And a lot of charges for college students that are on the sports teams are dropped. They're like swept under the rug because, you know, they didn't want to be the downfall of their team. Like, oh, this person's great, they're really carrying the team, and if they're not playing, they're benched or they're in jail or wherever the hell, then we're probably gonna lose, and we can't have the school lose. We have to go to the state championships, and we gotta do that. You know how that stuff can go. So anyway, yes, he hit the freaking manager. Another instance was he was out and he started shooting at people because they spilled a drink. Like, at this point, he didn't shoot them. He was 17 years old at this time, between 17 and 18. He did not shoot them, but he was shooting at them for spilling a drink. Like, come on now, sir. You're tripping, bruh. So, anywho, during the second episode, from the beginning, I knew that this man had issues because he's taking this shit is like a joke. So he's on the phone, you know, with, I don't know if it was like his sports agent, but his sports agent's like making a joke like, yeah, I'm trying to get you some endorsements, but it's kind of hard for me to get, you know, Nike to sponsor, you know, Nike signs on orange jumpsuits. And this fool goes and rebuttals him and goes, yeah, I get that. But can you get me a Smith & Wesson deal? Now, anybody who knows that, or if you don't know, those are guns. So you're in prison currently for a murder. You're facing trial for this murder. You know, they're holding you, but you're facing trial for a murder where a victim was gunned down. And you're making references as a joke about guns. Like, come on, sir. You do know that your calls are being monitored for quality assurance. Come on now. Well, maybe not quality assurance because you're in jail or prison, but to make sure that you ain't talking about nothing you're not supposed to be talking about, and you're making jokes about guns. Like, how slow do you have to be? I don't want to say slow. How reckless, ruthless, and just not give a fuck, pretty much, do you have to be? So, anywho, let me see. I put it in a timeline for his murders. Okay, so in 2012, he was at a bar with this guy named Alexander Bradley. And during this time, he was at the bar. These guys were dancing. And one of them accidentally spilled a drink and a little bit got on his shirt. According to Alexander Bradley, and I say according to because he was not convicted of this. He was found not guilty because there were mitigating circumstances that you couldn't necessarily believe Alexander Bradley because he had a bad criminal history as well. And he also had motive to be trying to set Hernandez up. So he was not convicted of this murder, but he did allegedly shoot into this car of these individuals. He supposedly waited around an hour with Alexander Bradley. He supposedly seen the people come out the club, you know, after an hour. He saw them. He's like, let's go. There they go right there, blah, blah, blah. Tells Alexander to pull up next to the car. He yells out, yo, no one responds. He says it again as they're at the red light. And he supposedly shoots into the car and kills these individuals. It said 2 were killed and 1 was hurt. And this is the SUV that was found in Tanya Singleton, Aaron Hernandez cousin's garage. So there was evidence that kind of pointed towards Hernandez. However, because of the history between him and Alexander Bradley, you couldn't really trust 100%. So you couldn't convict without knowing 100%, like without a reasonable doubt. And there was doubt. There was doubt because of the history. And the history that is because after about 2 years after Aaron supposedly shoots and kills these individuals, they're at another bar. Alexander, Mr. Bradley, says that, you know, Hernandez became more and more agitated. He was starting to become more paranoid, which obviously if I go kill someone, yes, every time I go out this house, I'm going to seriously think that anybody is undercover and they're coming for my ass, because you can always leave just the smallest thing that can point back to you. So if this was the case, then obviously that would make sense. However, what didn't make sense is if this man is this cold-blooded freaking killer, why are you making jokes with him like, oh yeah, because he said that Hernandez said, oh, I think those 2 people right there with the short haircuts are police. And you think the first thing that you're going to say to somebody that you clearly say that you witnessed shooting people and killing them, you think that you're going to joke with them like, oh yeah, that is the police and they're coming to get you for that stupid shit you did in 2012. Really? Who's saying that to somebody who freaking supposedly killed people in front of them? Even though you're this hardened, hardcore criminal with this long background, all this armor, and you have these gang members rallied behind you and all of this shit. I don't give a fuck how much of a hardened criminal you are. If somebody kills somebody in front of me, I'm not making jokes about them getting caught, because then they're gonna be looking at me like, bitch, is you gonna snitch? Are you the one? Are you wearing a wire? Do I need to take you out the game? And that's apparently what Hernandez was thinking, because later on that day, He supposedly, according to Alexander Bradley, who did, by the way, wind up shot in the face. He said that he said that he instantly, after making that little remark to Hernandez, he said that Hernandez kind of pulled away from him. You know, he said that he started seeing like little distance and he kind of had an attitude or whatever. He said they left the bar around 5 in the morning and he fell asleep. Next thing you know, he's waking up to a gun in his face. And he said he put his hand up and Hernandez shot through his hand, and it wound up obviously in his face. But he said he did it in the car. According to the pictures, the freaking bullet was outside. The blood was outside. So, and the muffled shot that was heard, it wasn't muffled. It was loud. So if you get shot in a car, obviously it's going to be muffled because you have windows up, you have doors, you have like insulation from the seats and things like that. If you're shot in, outside, it's obviously going to be louder. So yeah, those were like things that, and then he sent some text message like about, if I tell the truth about who shot me, something, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the case was thrown out. He was found not guilty, even though he didn't go to trial for this specific murder until 2017. So he supposedly did this in 2012, and he did not get put on trial for this until 2017, which is crazy because by this point, he was already serving a life sentence for another murder that he, in my opinion, did commit. So now we're moving on to the murder of 2013, Odin Lloyd. Odin Lloyd was a semi-pro football player, and he was a outside linebacker. And the prosecutors did not have a murder weapon. They didn't have a motive or anything like that. However, they made a great case. And so obviously Hernandez was found guilty of first degree, and he was serving a life sentence. The crazy thing is no one knows why Hernandez killed Odin Lloyd. No one knew a motive at all. But my gut is telling me that Odin knew he was going to die. And that's the unfortunate thing, because it gave me like this eerie feeling when he texted his sister and said, "Hey, do you know who I'm with? NFL, just so you know." If you're texting your sister that, you're obviously not saying a name, but obviously that's probably the only person that you know in the NFL that you're rubbing shoulders with or rubbing elbows with. So your sister now knows exactly who you were with. And then you wind up dead that night. You obviously had some type of inkling that something wasn't right, because you text her that pretty much as soon as you got in the car. So that was very, very eerie. That gave me a really eerie feeling. And it's sad because they were really good friends. And it's even more sad because Aaron Hernandez was engaged to Odin Lloyd's girlfriend's sister. I don't know if you caught that, so let me rewind it. Aaron Hernandez's fiance was the girlfriend of Odin Lloyd. So their lives were intermingled because they were involved with sisters. So this now has become Aaron Hernandez, the murderer, Odin Lloyd, the victim, and then you have the fiance / baby mama and the girlfriend in the middle as sisters, who are now separated by this because one is in there supporting her fiance and the father of her child, and the other person is in there trying to seek justice for her boyfriend. So, that's unfortunate because now you have these two relationships that are now forever altered, and it's unfortunate because no one knows why the hell it happened. Like y'all were just cool, and all of a sudden they're saying in the club that randomly Aaron got angry and he was like staring daggers at Hernandez or at Odin and things like that, and then a few days later he gets him killed, or he killed him. Who knows, because there was other people in the car, but it was your footprint out there. He was shot 5 times. you're all over the crime scene. You're saying that, oh, it wasn't you, that they were the killer. The people that was with you, they killed him. You were fearful of your life. But then there's video surveillance and video footage of you in your home handing over these so-called hardcore killers that you're afraid of your infant baby. There was too many inconsistencies with that, and therefore I believe that he did actually kill Odin Lloyd. His fiance was Shayana Jenkins, and she was very, very loyal. She was loyal to the end. However, she wasn't honest, and that made her credibility suck ass. And it was kind of hard to watch her as a witness, because it's like, come on now, girl, you're playing on my damn intelligence. You remember all this shit from years ago, but you don't remember any of this? Like, come on, are you suffering from CTE? Do you have a little case of dementia going on? They're seeing you on surveillance, clear as day, getting rid of a box that looks like a gun box or a gun safe. And you clear as day say, yes, you discarded something near a dumpster. But the next question is where, and you say you don't know. Sis, who you think you fooling? Who you think you fooling, sis? No damn body. Nobody. And I feel personally, I don't know. This is just probably the petty in me. But if I heard video or audio footage, if I heard audio recording played of my fiance talking to another guy about strippers at some club called Tootsie's and how bad they were, or how bad the girls in there are, bad is in reference to their sexiness or their sex appeal. So he was saying they're really, really bad, and he goes, yeah, they're much badder bitches than my girl. No, them bitches bad. Them bitches look way better than my wifey. Those was his exact words on that audio recording. If I, me, she, me, her, heard that shit in court, I would have been like, oh, okay. Well, let me get my ass up, and you have one of them stripper bitches from Tootsie's come down here and support you day in and goddamn day out, since they so bad. But that's just the petty in me, because nigga, don't be comparing me to other bitches, for one. And with that, I'm gonna leave you guys with this little gem, and we're gonna go ahead to segment 3. So I'll see you guys over there.